Good morning, everyone. This is Khushbu Patidar, the Digital Marketing Executive from InstaMD. Today, I welcome you all on the fourth episode of Pitch Point. And before starting, it would be nice to be aware about the concept of Pitch Point and about our speakers too. So, let me help you out with that. So, I'll be sharing a screen to give you a little presentation about our speakers and the concept of Pitch Point. So, wait for a few seconds till I share the screen. Okay, so again, I would like to welcome you aboard on the fourth episode of Pitch Point, and the topic for today is Train to Win, Field Force on Modern Sales Skill. Now, before starting anything, it would be really nice to be aware about Pitch Point. So, Pitch Point, it is basically a signature online webinar series by Expert on Board designed to bring together the thoughts of leaders, innovators, and professionals from the pharma space. It is powered by InstaMD, and it was born from a simple yet powerful idea to create a space where experience meets innovation and real-world insights inspire action. And Pitch Point is actually organized by Expert on Board, and it is a bridging platform which fills the gap between pharma professionals having immense expertise and experience with the pharma students, professionals, and enthusiasts who aspire to achieve more in pharma. Now, it is time to introduce the power panel for this episode. We have got a fantastic power for this episode, and one by one, I'll be introducing the power panel members to you guys. So, I'll be starting with our first speaker for today, Hariram Krishnan sir. Hariram Krishnan sir, he is an executive coach and mentor with over 50 years of experience in the healthcare and pharma industry. His remarkable journey from MR to MD of Galderma India reflects his deep commitment to leadership, learning, and transformation. He has held senior leadership roles at Serle, Crosslands, Galderma, and Cube Ethicals, overseeing large sales forces, driving revenue growth, and spearheading strategic initiatives. As a mentor, he has guided CEOs, directors, and senior leaders across pharma, medical devices, and allied sector, focusing on strategic thinking, conflict management, and people development. He is certified by the International Coaching Federation and the Coaching Certification Alliance. He is passionate about enabling leaders to evolve continuously. Now, coming on to our second speaker, it is none other than Dr. Amrit Karmarkar, sir. So he is an HR and L&D professional currently serving as a senior manager HR at Zuventus Healthcare Limited, where he leads learning initiatives across sales and corporate R&D and manufacturing verticals. With a PhD in clinical research and an MBA in HR, he brings over a decade of rich experience in training design, competency-based development, and performance management across leading pharma organizations like Cipla, Alchem, and USV. He is a certified trainer from Dale Carnegie and Middle Earth HR. Dr. Amrit, he is also a TED Talk speaker known for his insights on people development and impactful learning experiences. His expertise spans building assessment centers, driving strategic L&D interventions, and enabling digital transformation in capability development. Now, coming on to our third speaker, Pushkar Purohit sir. So he is in dynamic sales training and L&D leader with over 14 years of experience across leading pharma companies, including JB and Cipla. He is currently serving as a Deputy General Manager, Capability Building at JB. He plays a pivotal role in aligning learning strategies with business goals to drive sales excellence and build future-ready teams. Previously, as a sales manager, or sales training at JB and academic manager at Cipla. He is specialized in leadership development, onboarding, capability enhancement through innovation, digital first training solutions. He is known for creating impactful learning journey that foster continuous growth, elevate team performance, and strengthen managerial effectiveness. With a deep foundation in coaching, communication, and sales strategy, Mr. Pushkar is committed to cultivating a high-impact learning culture with pharma industry. Now, coming on to the moderator for this episode, it is, of course, none other than the founder of Expert on Board, Dr. ICS Varma sir. So he is the founder of Expert on Board, of course, a platform built on his belief that experience gains true value when shared. With over 25 years in the pharma and healthcare industries, he has led digital transformation at Cipla, managed global operations, and drove leadership development initiatives. Recognizing the need for practical wisdom and cross-generational mentoring, he has launched ExpertOnBoard to bridge the gap between theory and real-world insight in the pharma sales and marketing. He is a respected professor of practice and visiting faculties and institutions like NIPER and many more. Dr. Varma continues to inspire future leaders through mentorship, collaborations, and industry-driven learning. And as a host of this particular webinar series, Pitch Point, I feel absolutely privileged and delighted to host such personality on this webinar. Now, Pitch Point, the idea behind Pitch Point, it was InstaMD. So let's get to know about InstaMD too. So InstaMD, it is an AI-powered specialized SFA and CRM platform built exclusively for the pharma industry. Trusted by 50 plus top pharma brands like Cipla, Sun Pharma, Zydus, Lupin, and many more. InstaMD, it is a one-stop solution for PMTs, field force, doctors, and chemists. With 300 plus customizable digital activities, it helps automate operations, enhance engagement, and drive growth. Any Excel format can be instantly transformed into a digital workflow, making pharma marketing smarter and faster. Now, I would like to thank you all to attend this session, and now I would like to hand it over to Dr. ICS Varma sir to take off from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kushbu and InstaMD team for again hosting one of the wonderful sessions today. And it's a great privilege, Hariram sir, he is also, our mentor as well as the guiding force in our expert on board. So welcome, Hariram sir. Welcome, Dr. Amrit and Pushkar to this wonderful session. So today we'll be discussing very, very important aspect of pharma industry, that is sales training. And we all know that today we have moved from generative AI to AI agents. So 2025 has seen the advent of AI agents. But when it comes to the training, so we would like to see how we are, technologically adopting the tools and what are the challenges probably, because Amrit and Pushkar are there in the, frontline tiling. They are training the frontline and, managers as well as the representatives. And Hariram sir is a part of, coaching the top leaders, CEOs and above cluster heads. So I think it's a beautiful panel to discuss on what exactly is needed and what is happening in the industry, and how and what are the things that probably can be adopted in pharma industry when it comes to training. So probably we'll have few questions. Maybe I'll ask you one by one, and then others can add their point of view, because training is a it's a kind of it always lives in our heart. Absolutely. So you can always add value. So the first question I would like to ask to Dr. Amrit. Yeah. Amrit, are we still training our field force for yesterday's sales model, while the HCPs and patients, if you see, HCPs and patients have moved very higher, especially in terms of technology adoption. And, now the patient is going, even if doctor prescribes, they are uploading it in a chat GPT and asking, what is my problem? So even doctors have a very high challenge to explain to the patients. So they have moved very, very, may not be knowledgeable, but they have got the tools which give them power to, understand everything. So now, how we are training our sales field to actually, to counter this issue or.
Sure. So first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity, and it's a wonderful question and relevant in today's era. As you know that today's doctors are well informed, and they also have the digital tools like chat GPT and everything. And not only this, the patients are also well informed. But what comes in the problem is we still invest on the induction training, but we invest very less on the ongoing behavioral training or the continuous learning or the digital learning. So, not only this, like many managers are promoted without the grooming in the coaching, data analysis, and even basic performance dialogues. So, the things which we definitely should change as an industry is we should evolve ourselves from the normal product detailing of a VA to the clinical conversations, some value added conversations by managers. And not only this, instead of just talking about the coverage parameters, we should also talk about how much is the customer engagement depth, how much is the, instead of the customer frequency or the call frequency or the call number, call average, we should talk about what was the quality of the call. So that actually will help our training. And not only this, the real-time scenarios, the simulations, and nowadays the AI-based simulations are also there in the picture. So if we as an industry start investing on this capability building, only not only for the MRs, but also for the managers on the different aspects like a coaching, analytics, emotional intelligence, and even personalized development plans for each and every level of the hierarchy, that would be great, I must say.
Lovely. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Dr. Amrit. Yeah. Pushkar, this question is to you. We all know that now, when we were representatives, we were visiting doctors, we used to get at least 2 minutes of time in clinic. Now that has come down to seconds, maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So, what do you think that, what is required to increase the, maybe you can't increase the clinic time for sure, but considering the challenge, what skills do really we need to consider while training the field force to increase their influence within in clinic?
Uh, Thank you for this question. I think, if you ask me, uh, all of us, for the last 5 years, we have started seeing this trend, and the industry has, we moved from physical VAs to digital VAs to keep the in-clinic conversations attractive. And we finally, after 5 years of hitting our head against the wall, today we are, all accepting this, that yes, in clinic time cannot be improved, increased from here onwards, because I have seen uh, when it started coming in, when the trend started coming in, trainers, senior managers used to go behind medical reps and push them to increase the in-clinic time. So, first of all, thank you for that realization, acceptance. And now that we have accepted that, okay, this is how we will have to live with it, uh, then comes the second part, how do we live with it? So, what you are telling is extremely right, sir, that lot of, uh, irrespective of the time, what value you are in. And I would also request, bring in here what Amrit was telling, that today we are not competing with another company's medical rep. When my rep enters the doctor's chamber today, he is not competing with a fellow company's medical rep. He is competing with AI over. He is competing with a patient who is so well informed that looking at the brand, the patient search for the company and he looks at the ranking of the organization, whether it is there in top 10, not there in top 10. And then only I will buy. Or he looks for the generic alternatives too. In all these change scenarios, now, one thing which is not going to change is the connection, the personal connection, the personal touch that my rep has with the doctor. And that is where I think, the industry is realizing and we should move towards that. That enough of data has been generated from the time we started using iPads and all. Now we have enough of data. Now we need to bring insights from this data on how do we use that data. So if you ask me, step number one to create impact should be your customer profiling. We'll have to go back to the basics. The customer profile is going to play a very important role. The customer that the rep is meeting he should know about that customer. Second, he should understand the needs of the customer and then showcase his product. That is what will bring humanness to the clinic conversation.
Thank you, Pushkar. I think you have given a very important aspect, as because what we cannot change and where we have to change, and can actually get an influence. Sir, Hariram sir, you will definitely agree with me on one thing. When we joined organizations, it was around 30 days, 40 days of training programs, and we used to get even the director of medical team used to come to teach us. I still remember, even the heads, they used to come and teach on the medical, and there was a pure medical team, and then PMTs used to come and they used to spend entire one day for one product. So this was basically, when we were representatives. But now, whatever the reasons, the training program has now abridged to some extent. So what probably you are meeting many, you are coaching many CEOs and top level management. So what is your understanding, sir, or what is your observation, and what do you suggest them or guide them in this aspect?
Thank you, Varma ji, and thanks to Amrit and Pushkar also for adding, your thoughts. Fortunately, in my mentoring and coaching, I today have an associated, scenario where I deal with different industries now. Pharma is 1/4 of what I'm doing.
Great.
And the balance 3/4 contains infertility business, medical devices, 2 partners of a taxation and audit firm, 2 manufacturing companies, CEOs. The principle, that is underlying, in terms of training, I have found everywhere remains the same. There is nothing that is very unique, for pharma, because everybody in their own domain have to have the required knowledge, have to have the required skills, and very importantly, the kind of attitude or mindsets, that we talk about, because everybody is facing, the customer. Everybody has got external stakeholders with whom they are dealing, but we'll talk about, pharma per se, because all of us are pharma people. And I think, Varma ji, as you rightly mentioned, the luxury of yesterday is only now a dream that you and I can, keep living through. I still remember 28 days in, Balat Pier, Grand Hotel, getting, from anatomy and physiology A to Z with that super 8mm slides. And as you rightly said, most of the days, the medical sessions were taken by the medical director. And then came, whatever other things. But the beauty of it was, even those days with no technology and things like that, being a typical American firm, Searle, that I started with, 7 days exclusively, selling skills. And selling skills is typically nothing but, how do you therefore, transfer?
Yeah.
Whatever knowledge you have.
Objection. Yeah.
And I would say that even at that point of time, personally, if you ask me, we had, if you go through, we had the similar challenges. Doctor, who would not listen to you. Doctors, who would be willing to give you the time. And then how do you do? And as I mentioned, even the other day when we were discussing, I still, favorite statement of mine always to anybody is, you get the time you deserve and not the time that you deserve. So how do you make yourself deservable? I think, that's what, we are talking about. How do I make myself deservable? And I think, one thing is very clear to me, that, when, let's take, the person is going to make 10 calls or 12 calls or 8 calls, whatever, that people have today. If we think that in every call, we will be able to get, 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I think we are mistaken. Right. If we think that there is a need for me, to add value somewhere, Then do I therefore, convert that into an opportunity with the doctor when the doctor says, like I was mentioning, just a few reminders, anything new, just a few reminders.
Yeah.
That 2 minutes that I want extra, will I be able to tell the doctor, I promise, I have something very interesting and important. That's a very simple way of, trying to reframe or, pivot what we are saying.
Yes.
I need 5 minutes of your valuable time. Right? Is that okay with you if I take? I have seen one thing. 90% of the doctors at this time, the moment you have said interesting or important, they have said yes. Some have said, do one thing, not now. Can you come at 1:30?
Correct.
So they have given you an alternate time because they saw in you that hunger in you. They saw in you, that interest. They saw in you that passion.
Yeah.
They saw the energy that you had.
That fire in the belly. Yeah.
Fire in the belly, which we call. So it's a question of, therefore, as he said, the behavioral skills. How do I carry myself?
Yeah.
How do I put across? And if I have said interesting or important, I must have done my homework.
Yeah.
Bina that, if I don't make it interesting or important, next time, that word does not carry anywhere.
Yes.
So I'm just, putting it like this as a gross, this one. This is a challenge. Let's accept that as a fact. But that doesn't mean, that it is not, addressable. We have two people, who are hands-on, working at the L&D level. They have been, doing in various ways. It's a question of, first thing is, the organization has to very clearly understand that we must adopt today's challenges. Everybody, at all leadership levels, they must adopt it as their responsibility, the today's challenges that are existing. Doctors know, patients are educated, patients use, technology. The time that is going to be available is going to be less, right? But I need to make my people effective. As Amrit, made a very valid point. Efficiency metrics is one aspect, which is fine. But within that efficiency, if you are able to build at least proportionately increasable effectiveness, that is doing the right things that I talk about, not just doing the things right, I think, then it calls for adapting, to the current circumstances that are existing at all levels. There's no point in sitting in a cycle meeting and talking about doctors don't give time. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's a fact of life. How do I get the time? How do I make it interesting? How do I add value?
Yes.
Right. What would the doctor really need? It's not that I know, therefore I want to tell him. What does he need? Therefore, do I have a better understanding? Do I know what he asked me, in my last call? Have I made a note somewhere? Right? Have I registered it? And then my ability to connect.
Yeah.
And then, the third aspect is, as we are talking about as the central theme of this, is becoming adept. That means, we equip ourselves with the necessary knowledge and skills that are going to help us, therefore, to do the job. So it's a question of, as much as we are talking about, I have just used, therefore, like I used, 3 A's, adopt, adapt, and adapt. I'm saying, the 3 C's that I'm bringing in at all levels of leadership that we are talking about, right up to the level is, do we have clarity, first of all? Do we have the conviction that given the challenges, we still will be able to do something better? The third aspect is commitment to do that. That's extremely important. The third aspect that I bring in is the 3 T's that we are talking about, which is basically the core theme. So teaching is one thing. Then we get into training. And of course, the other part has got to learn. But very important is we need to transform. That's very, very important. And the fourth aspect, 3 M's that I am bringing in is very clear is mindset, methods, and the newer models, that we are talking about today in terms of learning, which our friends, are definitely, are good at that. So if we take care of that, I use only one statement. This fellow said long time back, Ralph Waldo Emerson, this time, like all times, is but a good one if you and I know what to do with it. Simple.
Thank you very much, sir. I think you have given a very comprehensive roadmap for the organizations. Yeah, Dr. Amit, you'd like to add something?
Yeah, so what my other two peers has said is correctly said, in fact, because Pushkar emphasized on the basics, to be very frank, and Hariram sir has also implemented that how we can emphasize this into the actual practice. I remember that last year I did one project that is a cohort-based training when I was at Cipla, and it was involving the intervention of the top to bottom all levels, like right from the marketing heads, business sales heads, BU heads, and even the L&D and medical. Everyone used to go to the particular geography. I visited Kerala almost 16 to 17 days in the 3 months and did the field work and demonstrated the people how to have these conversations with the doctor. Currently, what I believe is most of our training programs are only oriented towards the basic onboarding trainings. However, if there is a synergy between the training department and the other business departments, including medical, the picture is definitely different, which we have witnessed in Kerala actually. So I believe that don't forget the basics, but definitely adopt the new tools. Doctors are there to give you the time, but the problem is my person ready for handling that conversation well? So the synergy is a key in this regard, I must say.
Excellent. And thank you very much. You already shared your field experience. That's what is sometimes, the training managers has to be in the field sometimes to understand exactly, what is the implementation status of the training which has been given 10 days or, 15 days, whatever today's training going on. For again, Pushkar and Amrit, now I'll ask, go to the Pushkar. Pushkar, you will agree with me on one thing, like, the training is a continuous process, as you in the beginning you said. So, in your organization, what kind of tools you are using to make it, maybe a video bites or something that you've been using, any digital initiatives that you've taken, and how you are engaging the teams, or you would like to maybe suggest that for the continuous engagement, what are the tools available and what you've seen?
Oh, so since all of you might be knowing that JB is going through a transformation. Earlier it had all traditionally been a family-run business, but with the new PE investors coming in, we had to rush against that there is a huge demand for performance with the investors coming in. So we have to, and the performance is going to be brought about by our field workers. So you have to make them business ready as fast as you can. At the same time, what I believe and the leadership at JP believes is in making the on-field person, even if he is an individual contributor, he should be an adaptable employee. Okay. See, gone are the days when there used to be a command and control kind of a leadership that some strategy from top will come and then for the next 6 months, everybody is following that same strategy. Today, even in the cycle meeting, when you launch your strategy and by the time the person reaches his headquarters, your competitor has already implemented that strategy, So now he cannot implement. The dynamics have changed. So when he is there on the ground, he has to be adaptable. That how do I implement it in my headquarters? And that is where adaptable learners come in. So instead of pushing the content down their throat, what we try to create is a pull mechanism. And yes, we are definitely using a lot of technology for that. One of those is what AI simulations. So we are using AI simulations
Great.
where a lot of scenarios are given relevant to the in clinic or for managers relevant to their coaching skills. Second is we definitely need to make it attractive. Today we are 80% of the population is Gen Zs. Okay, so you have to make it attractive for them to come back again. Okay, we have been able to achieve that to a certain extent. Third and the most important thing is that you constantly see, you cannot expect everything that the field people will do. So as L&D professionals also, constantly you have to be on the lookout. What Hariram sir was telling is, I would echo with it, that today Indian pharma or JB or any pharma company today is not dealing with competition with another pharma company. You are there out in the industry. So best practices of other industries, what different tools are coming in, CRM tools or L&D tools and all. So you have to constantly have a vigil about it so that you can bring it the best thing at the right time for your people. That is what we are doing.
Great. Yeah. Amrit would like to add something on the
Sure,
same.
sure. So, to be precisely, when we talk about different tools that we can use, and in fact, we are using it at Zuventus, is we have a learning management system which enables the managers, right, like right from the one particular MR score is visible to the vice president. So that is a best thing which is possible in our LMS app. Not only this, we do send nudges through the app itself from L1 to L4 managers. Apart from this, not always the training department is there in the field and there in the joint field work with the all reps or all the managers. So we have made our managers capable, and in fact, we are actually going to do this in the more vigilantly in the coming days. Is we will give the access to the managers so they can just like a Google search the platform kind of thing, and they can enroll the people for the requisite knowledge or skill based modules which are already there in the platform. That will help them to impart this, and coaching metrics also we have set up so managers can record and do the coaching conversations after their joint field work is done. And not only this, particularly when we talk about the improvement of the manager's competencies, so we have the in-house developed platform of the data analytics, which is based on the Tableau and Power BI. So this makes a managers easy to track their primary and secondary data. And that actually enables them to plan their field days and the coming month in the very effective way. Talking about, there are the different tools which we use in the cycle meetings or during the different online sessions is through the Zoom and through MS Teams. And not only this, we use the Mentimeter or the Kahoot, where we can make the learning engaging. So, and one most important thing which I would like to add is we are actually using a AI-based recommendation tool for our field staff. Like, let's say if I am from X division and Pushkar is from Y, so and I have completed one learning module, so and which is relevant to Pushkar also. So the AI will trigger that Amrit is learning this particular skill or the knowledge module. Do you want to enroll? So
Yes.
that will make them actually capable of doing it.
Interesting, and yeah, interesting, and that will trigger them to go for it.
Right,
Like in social media, you'll come to know Amrit has liked this, and Hariram Krishnan has liked, your friend
right.
liked this post. So usually we also try to pick and see what is this.
Yes,
That,
and apart from this, one most important thing which we use is for the development. Most of the times, L&D has a limited bandwidth. Even the sales training has a limited bandwidth, so they cannot always poke the managers to learn something new because of the n number of tasks in the plate. So
yes.
we have in the same learning app, we have got a open AI based content which will enable managers to learn by searching a topics and learn the new age skills accordingly. So that's how we are using different tools for upgradation of the people.
Lovely. I think it's good to hear both the organizations are adopting the digital capabilities in the training, because I have seen in most data management and dashboards, this has been used by many organizations, but it's nice to see that organizations are adopting, like JB and Juventus. Both the examples we see that you've been utilizing the AA skills as well as the other tools to make learning more engageable and interesting. Hariram sir, question to you now. So because you have seen almost all levels and seen different types of leaderships styles and all those things. So the question is, the nuts and bolts of what are the various approaches to be left to current L&D professionals. So if you would like to add something on this, sir.
I think, to a large extent, it was, at least I saw one thing. I would say that when people keep, whipping Pharma for whatever that is happening today, particularly, the current, generation of medical reps or managers and things like that. I think, I'm glad that Amrit and Pushkar are breathing a fresh air, talking about something that is more sensible and meaningful. So first of all, therefore, I must appreciate, that part of it. And I believe that if this could be, taken as a cue by others, it only tells that we have things available today, right? Within our reach. It's a question of, sitting and then getting invested. I mean, and these are investments, which are long-term, beneficial, not short-term, and therefore it is typically urgent versus important. This takes the important aspect.
Yes,
now,
yes.
One thing is there. See, when we are talking about any aspect, and more so, ultimately, we are coming down to one thing. The foot soldiers are, so-called, our salespeople, right? I would put it like this, that, the word that I would like to use here today is not the hackneyed, word, that's typically being used. They're basically, they've got to position, or they've got to be helped to position themselves as value catalysts.
Yeah.
Right. So that's something, I feel that is important, that is there. Which means, when we talk about the leadership, right, the leadership has to equally, adapt, themselves to the changing circumstances. Because as I think Pushkar made a very valuable point, with 80% of the people down the line at Gen Z level, and then you've still got at the mid-level to top level, the various other, ages managers.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not using the word leaders immediately, managers at least I'm using.
Yes.
How do we help them, therefore, to adapt, to the changing circumstances? The other day somebody asked me that I think something about technology. I was able to immediately get on and show them this is what it is. So he was saying, sir, at this age, how do you do? I said, is there anywhere a prescription that ye age mein aisa nahi karne ka thodi hai kya? I said, that's what I asked them. I said, I feel that it is helpful for me in whatever passion that I am driving.
Yes, sir.
And therefore, I would like to be relevant. That's the most important word according to me. Are we relevant? So is the leadership team relevant today?
Yes.
With all what, Pushkar and Amrit, spoke to me, I would not be surprised, if, off the record or on the record, if I ask them a question, their challenge would not be with the younger generation team. When it comes to, adopting, what I call as whether it is an omni-channel fluency or whether we are talking about, anything else relating to the digital aspect of it or technology-driven aspect. The bottlenecks are at the top. And bottlenecks are really at the top only. Let's accept that as a fact. Therefore, the leadership has to drive this, which means, their ability to challenge the status quo and be willing to learn. And if they do not know, they can learn it even from the youngsters.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong. I mean, hey, yeah, I do not know. How are you able to manage this? Hey, let me know about it. It's interesting. So they can learn. So which means, they have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
The most important part is they have to exhibit their vulnerability without trying to sit on their past laurels and egos. That's the most important thing according to me. The third aspect, as Pushkar, rightly at one point, he mentioned a statement. You cannot be into that old approach of command and control. That is only exceptional. That cannot be the rule. And therefore, on the job, coaching, right? And therefore, they have to act as a coach, which means, I think Amrit made a point that every one of them, must have the coaching skills developed. There is no two way about it. Yes. When to bring that out of the arsenal that they have is one of the leadership styles that they've got to adopt. That's the important thing. Where do I fit in? So it is, do I know it is different strokes for different folks? Sometimes do I know that it is different strokes for the same folks? How do I differentiate? Am I painting it with the same brush that I was used to because this is how my boss dealt with me, therefore this is how I'm going to deal? Yeah. And one point I would say is when people talk about time as a factor, we are talking about doctors' available time. I'm just coming back to one point which I keep observing everywhere when I go. Even today, I have the same curiosity when I meet a rep or a manager, or I think in my complex, every chemist knows me, right? So he will still give me, like RCPI, he will give me the data. I keep telling him, "Mera kuch kaam nahi, nahi sahab, aap sun lijiye na," because they know that this man is interested. But what I see is the manager, whichever may be the level that they are in, it doesn't matter. They accompany the rep for a call. Outside, they are waiting. The rep is doing something on his mobile. The manager is standing at a distance and talking to somebody. Yeah, I feel it's such a valuable time, according to me, to build that trust, to build that bonding, and get more understanding of his own team member. Absolutely. That precious time, I feel, is getting lost because the gadget, that they have on their hand is being utilized for a wrong purpose, according to me. Absolutely, sir. So they have to be, the managers have to be, culture creators. They have to be clarity, developers, in my opinion. And they are the ones, who are, basically helping people to develop. I'm not saying they are developing. Today, you have everything available. You are helping them to develop. So this should be the leadership style at all levels, according to me, irrespective of the hierarchies. And it should not happen that everybody works one level below. So the frontline manager becomes a super representative, the second line manager becomes a super FLM. And then, everybody gets one level dragged down the line. And therefore, the role is diluted in the whole game. Yes. So this is what I would say, from the leadership point of view. Just I would like to add on what you said, sir, especially while waiting for the doctor's call, when we were in the field, because we don't have gadget at that time, so we used to talk to the attenders, we used to build relationship with those people, and we used to actually, talk to the team members, observe them, how they have been sitting, how they have been talking to them, and they also observe us, how we are making the connections, and they used to adopt. But probably, now because of the gadgets, everybody is busy in their own gadgets. They don't even, look for those connections to build, and that is one missing link. What I see in current generation, or maybe I can't blame anybody, but this is what's happening. And so I would also like to add one thing. Say, for example, as you was talking, there is so many, touch of the fingers. You have many things, that are available to you today. Yes. I was a little surprised. One of the mid-sized companies, where they wanted me to attend a sales meeting, but 3 months back, and I was seeing, 2 hours being spent talking about call averages. I thought every manager, by the end of the evening, if he presses a button on his SFE tool, that he is accessible to him, he knows what his team members have done for the day. Correct. Then his course correction should be done tomorrow morning itself. Why wait in a meeting and then, keep talking about postpartum, on a murda? Correct. So the redirecting of the behavior has got to be immediately after the event has taken.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the speed with which we can work today.
Yeah.
So it's everything, in my opinion, is in favor of people today. I look at it like this, and that's the reason why I repeatedly keep even telling to myself that when everybody talks about, those days, they will tell. I said that this time is like all times is a better one if you and I know what to do with it. And that's what I precisely believe.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much, sir. And I still remember before the start of the meeting, you said that, if you want to, take the review and want to screw the people, don't call them to the 5-star hotels. Talk to them on the roadside, because anyhow, after calling to the 5-star hotel, you're not giving any kind of motivation to him. So, yeah. So if you are bringing some
Curbside meeting is what we used to call those days.
Yeah, if you're not adding value while he's traveling from a different headquarter to here, and if he's not learning anything, maybe achiever comes there and gets recognized, but for a non-achiever, what value you're adding, that is very, very important at leadership level.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you very much, sir. I think we have had a lot of great discussion, and one thing, a closing remark is something, what I could say is you get, you said that you get what you deserve, not what you desire, especially when it comes to clinic time. And thank you, Amrit and Pushkar, for adding a lot of value through what technologies that you have been using, and how the organizations are adopting the tools.
Thank you.
And really love the conversation today. So probably
I think this requires one more session according to me,
Yes,
because I've got another 10 questions lined up.
Absolutely.
that's true, sir. That's true. We are not even touched upon emotional intelligence, which is a very big aspect of training. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, Hariram, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Amrit and Pushkar. Thank you, Kushbu.
Thank you. Thank you so much, all.
Have a great weekend. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me over here.
Thank you. Same
And
here.
thank you for the insights, Hariram sir.
No, thank
And
you. I think
Varma
it's a
sir.
pleasure. It's a pleasure interacting. It's insight plus as far as I'm concerned, right? It's more learning that I'm taking along with me, when I'm going back from this video room. So thanks a lot to all of you for the wonderful contributions that you've made. And Varma ji, thank you, for thinking of me, to join this program. And Kushbu, for all your coordinations that you have done, and being prompt and disturbing me whichever part of the meeting I'm sitting in. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a great
Thank
weekend.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah.